Hello everyone. During this session we're going to be configuring our central dispatch site. We'll be using the GUI CD master to perform that configuration. Now the requirements for this configuration are that we have two nodes, which we do, and that there's a web server already configured and running on those nodes. Third requirement is that Central Dispatch is already installed. If you haven't installed Central Dispatch, then please look for our other video that does step you through that installation. During this session we're going to be working with the two nodes X3 and X4. These two nodes are the two web servers that we will be using for the load balancing demonstration. We will be creating a shared IP address, or VIP, called X9, and X9 will be an address that will be shared across the two nodes X3 and X4. We will then be creating HTTP and HTTPS services on the X9 shared IP address, and we will see them be served from both X3 and X4. I'll be using this browser window to demonstrate the load balancing service that we're going to create using Central Dispatch. Now the two nodes that we are working with, X3 and X4, each serves the Resonate logo in a different color. X3 serves the Resonate logo in red, while X4 serves that same logo in green. This logo is made up of some 60 individual images. So when we define our service, our load balance service, what I expect is that when we send an HTTP request, that this logo will be created from a combination of the red and the green Resonate logo. I now have the CD Master GUI on my desktop. The first thing I'll do is I'll select the connect icon and specify the CD adapter component on the X3 node, and I'll enter in the password to the administrator account. This is the same administrator account that was specified during the installation of the software on X3. This dialog box indicates that the adapter on X3 has never been configured, so I will select to create a new site. I'll leave this as a default and select OK. First thing you'll see a navigation pane on the left with corresponding content pane on the right. Now the content pane on the right is context sensitive based on the item selected in the navigation pane on the left. The first thing I'll do is I'll select the nodes item from the navigation pane on the left, and I will add my two nodes X3 and X4. I'll take the defaults for server weight as well as the other items on the node definition screens. Now I'll create the shared IP address for both of these nodes. I'll select the VIPs item from the navigation pane. VIPs is the Resonate term for the shared IP address, stands for virtual IP address. I'll select the plus element from the menu bar to add a new component of type VIP. I can either enter the IP address here or the host name associated with the shared IP address. Now the shared IP address X9 will have to have at least one node designated as a scheduler. I'll select X3 as the primary scheduler with X4 as a backup scheduler in the event that X3 should fail. I'll hit OK. Now I will define my scheduling rules or services. I'll expand the scheduling rules item from the navigation pane. First rule I will create is a service of type HTTP. I'll select the HTTP item from the navigation pane, the add new component item from the title bar. I will give my service a label. I'll call it web service. I'll select my shared IP address, enter a default listening port of 80. Under URL, under resource, I'll leave it at URL, but you can see I can load balance based on URL, cookie, CGI parameter, or a combination of cookie and CGI parameter. For path expression, I can get very granular here and just specify a particular path on my web server or a particular extension. In this case, I'll just select the wildcard symbol for all paths. I'll select the server sub-tab from the content pane and select both X3 and X4. Now what I'm selecting here are the servers that should answer for the HTTP service that I'm currently defining. I'll select OK. I'll go back to my scheduling rules, and now I will define an SSL3 or an HTTPS service. I'll select the new component from the menu bar. Again, I will enter in a label for this service, and I'll indicate that this one is encrypted since it's HTTPS. I'll select the shared IP address or VIP for this service. My default port is going to be 443, which is the default listener for all HTTPS services. I'll specify a timeout. Now the default timeout on most web servers for HTTPS is 5 minutes. So I'll go ahead and enter 300 seconds to match what the default setting is on the web servers. Similar to the HTTP rule, I'll select the server sub-tab and specify that both X3 and X4 should answer for this service. I'll select OK, and now on the left hand side what you see is I've got an HTTP scheduling rule, an HTTPS scheduling rule under SSL3, as well as a virtual IP address that has been defined. Under Manage on the menu bar, I will select Set Site License to enter in my license. I'll hit OK, and now at this point, under Manage, I select Start to start the site, and immediately what you'll see is the lower right hand corner will show a green diamond to indicate that the site is running. To the left of that diamond you should see a little animation scrolling back and forth, which is a graphical representation of the heartbeat that's going across X3 and X4, essentially testing that both of those nodes are up. I'll minimize my CD master window, take us back to the browser window. Now every time I refresh, what you see is that the image gets repainted using a combination of the two images being served from X3 and X4. So the difference that you see in every time I refresh, the difference in color is because of the metric that's being used for the load balancing decision. Now if I specify HTTPS, you will not see load balancing across the two servers. The URL, the service for HTTPS //x9 is still being load balanced, but the individual components that comprise the page are themselves not being load balanced across the two servers. And the reason being because with HTTPS you have persistence defined. We defined ours to be 5 minutes. So within 5 minutes, within that timeout, I will always hit the same server. So I will always hit the red server here. In order to have a chance of hitting the other server, I would have to let my connection time out. This concludes this session of configuring Central Dispatch. Thank you.